People say that there's an affordable housing issue. Lots of people live in substandard housing in Kansas City, old rental houses that have tons of concerns. Yet, what you see when we try to build new apartment developments in Kansas City, in the suburbs, right? People say, oh no, why? Why are we gonna let those people move in?
This whole warehousing system and not in my backyard for a relatively small sector of the population is revolting to me.
Why are we going to let them take advantage of the good public schools that they might have in Overland Park or somewhere else, right? There's this view of a threat, and that view of a threat usually is inseparable from the racial conversation.
27 people, and that's the factual number. 27 people are going to be the downfall of Northland society.
Kansas City is just one of 5 cities chosen for a coveted $30 million federal grant. The money will pay for improvements in a housing project that hasn't seen improvement since it was first built back in the 1950s.
I'm telling you, this is going to be a major, major change. $30 million. It's going to change the entire look and feel of this neighborhood as well as the residents who live here. So there are 134 units right now at the Chouteau Courts Apartments here. Well, they're all going to come down one by one, and 360 mixed income units are going to replace them. So this is no longer going to be only for low income residents. The HUD secretary calls the project a new beginning for the Paseo Gateway District.
We love to collaborate with communities like Kansas City to create stronger neighborhoods and to help give momentum to cities across our country.
One of the elements of this project was that they wanted to sort of give some of these Chouteau Courts residents additional opportunity in a neighborhood that was sort of a thriving neighborhood. And that sort of led them to the Northland and looking in that area to build one of these mixed income developments.
The initial proposal was to move them to Northeast 48th Street and essentially Randolph Road. Well, there was no sidewalks in that area. The nearest grocery store was over 2.5, 3 miles away, and there were no city services for these people to plug into. So the 152 and Northwest Platte purchase was the second manifestation of that proposal. And that's when I think really you saw the people, you saw the true colors of the people in Platte County, and the not in my backyard kind of mentality manifest itself. The pitchforks and the torches, fully represented at that meeting.
The Northland is being sort of singled out because they don't feel like this project is theirs, that they're being sort of, or it's being sort of foisted upon them, that they're forced to participate against their will, and they come up with these reasons why it's not going to work. And I don't think there's enough people in the Northland that are coming up with reasons why it will work.
They sent Brenshaw packing. It was the most amazing display of institutional racism that I've ever seen in my life. And like we said, it might be a 150-unit complex that they're going to build. Less than half of those units, less than 33% of those units were going to be available for housing vouchers. So what? Again, 27 people, and that's the factual number. 27 people are going to be the downfall of Northland society. Your hair's on fire because of that?
Seeing some of the vitriol that was sort of being thrown out there online, especially if you go to the page where the petition was. I had sort of a visceral reaction to it too when you see it and you say, wow, that's really pretty bad.
As a product of the Northland, that petition and that whole social media thread really made me almost ashamed to say that, yeah, I was a Park Hill kid, or I came from Platte County.
You know, our company's built about 24,000 units. And even though we build mixed income, like Villa del Sol, I'm always surprised when I go into a neighborhood saying, I'm not here just to build affordable housing. I'm here to also attract market rate. That people are so skeptical, they don't about any, if you say, I'm building one affordable unit, the neighborhood will go bananas. Even though they're in the same income, they have the same income level as the person who we would be renting to. It's the idea, and it's the negative connotation that goes with affordable housing that people just freak out.
Everybody else has an effect on you, particularly in a place like Kansas City. It'd be one thing if you could live in a suburb, let's say as far away as like the Hamptons, and you're like in New Jersey or something. Maybe that, it's hard to get from one place to the other. Here, everyone is within about a 30-minute drive of each other. And they can move to your place and they can be around you. Now, that can either be a positive thing, right? And you say, oh, wow, there are enough people that help fill this workplace, or they're new consumers and it's neat and I'm meeting new families. And not even related to economic stuff, I like talking to somebody who's different than me. Heaven forbid. So there's that positive. But then, yes, there's also the negative. And there's the perpetuation of fear.
I talked to a source in the Housing Authority the other day. He mentioned that essentially, as far as he understands it, they are still in a sort of a race against time, that there's a September 2018 deadline to apply for those tax credits, and they're still actively negotiating with Northland residents to find a location for a potential mixed income development. That said, if they continue to face the kind of obstacles that they have in getting something put together, there are ways to move this project forward without that visible support from the Northland. If you're the Housing Authority, you could probably make a pretty compelling point that you've gone above and beyond to try to appease this faction of Northland resident that doesn't want this project in there at all. We need to build this somewhere in order to satisfy the grant.